Welcome back to the Up North podcast. That's Kyler, that's Boatman, and we are your best coverage in the Big Sky Conference, especially during preview season. And today we are previewing the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. Boys, how are you guys doing today?
We are good. It's been a long day.
Yeah. We're going to start out with another 50-50 guy for you guys. Would you rather be an NAU Lumberjack or Stephen F.A. Austin Lumberjack?
Stephen.
Easy.
Wait. Yeah. Well, define B. What do you mean B? Like student, fan? Where am I living?
Student can get subjective because I don't want to pull academics in. Let's go fan.
Where am I living? Can I live anywhere, or do I have to live in the area?
I guess, yeah, you could technically live anywhere.
All right, Stephen F. Austin. If I had to choose to live, I'd choose Flagstaff to live. But if you had to live where you're talking, I would choose Flagstaff. But overall, if it didn't matter, Stephen F. Austin.
Kyler?
Yeah, if it was strictly just talking about basketball, I would pick Stephen F. Austin all day. But everything else about NAU, I am a fan of. Flagstaff, super cool town. It's my favorite college town in the Big Sky. I think it's amazing. I think they got cool uniforms. The walk-up Sky Dome is unique. It's cool as long as you're not sitting behind the press box because that's really stupid. But other than that, really cool campus, really cool town. I like NAU a lot. So I would pick NAU.
See, for me, I agree. Flagstaff is cool. They got Rail Yard or Lumberyard Brewing, which is supposed to be one of the top ones in the country. But I want to live in Nacogdoches, Texas, baby, right next to my main man, Clint Dempsey, fishing on the lakes out there in the Piney Woods. Me and Clint, the Deuce, just hanging out, living life. Two friends living life large in the state of Texas.
Well, you can't live there if you can't pronounce it.
Nacogdoches?
Nacogdoches.
Well, Clint hasn't taught me yet. I'm not his neighbor. But I do like NAU. Speaking of NAU, it's who we're previewing today, so let's get into it. 2021 season recap. They went 5-6 overall, 4-4 in the Big Sky. They started 1-3, finished 4-3, so possibly sparking the old lighters there at the end, trying to increase their Taco Bell sauce. Notable, they beat Pac-12 Arizona. That was big. That was actually really cool. And then they after week 4, they only lost to top 25 team. That is Northern Arizona's 2021 season in a quick 30-some odd seconds. Takeaways, Boatman?
Yeah, again, we've been calling these guys the barometer of the Big Sky. If you're better than them, you're probably in the playoffs. If you're worse than them, you suck. These guys are pesky. They can compete with anyone. Or you can look up a score on a random weekend in October and see NAU played someone in the Big Sky, and you're not going to be surprised to see the score. No matter who they're playing, you're going to be oh yeah, that makes sense. I can see them somehow being competitive with that, Idaho State giving them trouble, or oh yeah, that makes sense. I can see them beating Montana, right? Just you're just not surprised.
They're always within that 60-40, 65-35 range.
In the post-Case Cookus years, right? I would be pretty happy as an AU fan.
Yeah. Kyler?
I have a completely different take because we saw them last year. They, versus anyone who was in the top 50 of the FCS, they weren't even competitive with. Blown out. So Sam Houston State, blown out. South Dakota, blown out. Sacramento State, blown out. UC Davis, blown out. Montana, blown out. They would have been blown out by Weber. They would have been blown out by Eastern. They would have been blown out by Montana State. Their wins, Arizona, amazing, right? Arizona won no games? One game? I don't know. They won against Idaho State, the worst team in the conference. They won against Southern Utah, the worst team in the conference with Idaho State. They beat Idaho, who was pretty bad last year and already gave up. And then they beat Cal Poly, again, one of the worst teams in the conference. And they lost to Northern Colorado. This is a team who played 4 of the 5 bottom teams in the conference, won close games, or not close games with a few of them, but won 4 of the 5 worst teams, lost to Northern Colorado. Then everyone else that they played FCS caliber, that's, I would even say, top 70 in the FCS, it was not competitive. So my 2021 recap is, please improve on defense. You have some studs on the offensive side of the ball. Anyone can score on last year's NAU team. Cheney High School.
Yeah.
Moscow. Well, their varsity team couldn't, but maybe their junior varsity team could. So it's one of those things. You're starting to build something under Ball. You have a lot of cool key pieces in place. Some really good talent on the offensive side of the ball. You got to figure out a way to play any defense. Not even a good defense, just any defense.
Okay, I think that's perfect. We talked a little bit there about Chris Ball. Hot seat meter. Woo, woo, woo. Talk about hot sauces. Is he closer to the flaming hot chair or the golden crown of a chalupa crunch wrap?
Closer to the golden chair.
Think it's a golden chair?
Closer. He's closer to that. Yeah.
Tyler?
No, I mean what? Jerome Sowers was there for like 800 years and was a 4-4 Big Sky team pretty much regularly. So no, as long as Chris Ball is somewhat close to 3 wins to 6 wins every single year, he can stay as long as he wants. Sowers already proved that.
Yeah, I'm going mild here. They haven't been bad. Like we said, they've technically been the last team out every year except the spring when UC Davis just elected not to play in the playoffs.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. But basically, either way, they're usually like we said, they're the barometer. Everybody above them in the conference makes the playoffs. Everybody below them in the conference doesn't. So, yeah, I'll say he's mild Taco Bell sauce. I don't think he's just in a regular old office chair, just hanging out, not worried about being crowned or burned. So, yeah, that's Chris Ball in a nutshell. Transfers in. They got offensive lineman Noah Nelson from Oklahoma. He's a 3-star. He's a number 38 tackle in the 2020 class. 17 offers, all of which were FBS. 15 were Power 5, including Michigan, Auburn, USC, Utah, and Washington. They also had a transfer in and wide receiver Trey Petway from UMass. He transferred from a JUCO, but he had offers to UMass and South Alabama. He was the number 9 JUCO wide receiver and a 3-star JUCO prospect. There's a reason why they're bringing in Petway. Transfers out. Brandon Porter Jr. takes the old leap out to go join Incarnate Word, although I did not see him on their roster.
Are we sure it's not Brandon Porter Sr.?
No, he's a junior.
No? Huh.
Yeah. 2020, that's a joke for the Portland State one. For all you guys that haven't caught up, go watch Portland State's Instagram logo. Go click it. 2020, 3rd team All-American and 1st team All-Big Sky. 2019, he was a Hero Sports All-Sophomore 1st team member and All-Big Sky 2nd team. He's 127 receptions, 1,692 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he also had 446 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So we talked about it with Idaho, about Cottrell Haywood leaving. This is a much more productive wide receiver than Cottrell Haywood. This is a loss. This is a loss for NAU. They do have some good wide receivers that they can lean on. But my huge takeaway is Noah Nelson from Oklahoma is a get. That is huge for them. I don't think Petway is really going to fill the void of a Brandon Porter. I think they have guys already on the roster that are probably just as qualified. But yeah, Brandon Porter's a loss. We have a lot of really good wide receivers in the Big Sky. As I read off, I mean, he was one of the consistently good ones. Boatman?
Yeah, anytime you lose production like that and consistency, it's tough. But, you hope that you get the replacement and bring in Petway, who, where do you know where he went to JUCO, Chris? Do you have any idea?
I did not write it down, but I believe it was in Mississippi.
Okay.
But it wasn't one of the big ones. It wasn't like Coffeyville or East Mississippi. It was in Mississippi, but a small one.
All right. But still had enough, pedigree to be ranked number 9 JUCO wide receiver, right? And had a couple of FBS offers.
Literally a couple. Literally a couple.
Literally. Yeah, but like Kyler talked about, big thing is they need to improve defense. I'm not seeing any big time transfers in on the defensive side. So unless they got guys who they think got better internally, red flag.
Kyler, what are your takes on the transfers?
So here's kind of to replace, their wide receiver that you mentioned, right? Gillespie. So here you go. He's from Fresno State. He actually had, 5 starts with the Lumberjacks in the fall. So I guess he's not a transfer this year. My bad. He was a transfer this season before from Fresno State. But that kind of replaced the loss of a wide receiver since they already have multiple good wide receivers on this squad. So other than that, they just tried to fill in places that they thought they needed. But overall, I'm not worried about anything outside of their defensive. Either it's scheming. I don't even think it's individual talent. I think NAU has a lot of individual talent. We need to figure out a way to coach that talent and maybe scheme better. And I think that's all. So I have no real takeaways from this current year's transfer portal. They did get one guy from Idaho, right?
No?
Was it the year prior? Keeson Evans?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Forgot about him.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk a little impact players. Boatman, you got anybody on the squad that kind of catches your eye that the folks at home should know about if they're not an NAU fan?
None that come to mind. I mean, obviously losing Brandon Porter, that would have been a big impact player. Why am I blanking on their quarterback's name again? God.
RJ Martinez.
RJ Martinez.
Yeah, I think he was better than I thought he was going to be last year. So if you're not...
Well, they started with that other guy, right?
Yes.
No, that was in the spring where they started with the Oklahoma State.
Yeah, they started with the other kid, and then RJ came in, I think, 2 to 3 weeks in.
So, again, I know it's just basic to go with a quarterback, but...
Jeff Widener.
It's just the way it goes. So, if you're not ultra familiar, RJ Martinez, and that he's not a bad quarterback.
No, from Westwood High School in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Kyler, some impact players.
Yeah, they got multiple.
Mine. You know who I love.
Oh, I'm probably going to steal all of them because I'm just going to rattle them off, right?
Damn.
So, of course, their running back, arguably a top 3 running back in the Big Sky with Daniels coming back. He was a beast. Boatman already talked about RJ Martinez. You could probably say he's the number 1 or number 2 returning quarterback in the Big Sky, right? There's not a lot of great stud returning quarterbacks. He's one of them. He was a solid player. But Hendricks Johnson and Stacy Chuckmuwinsky, I can't ever pronounce his last. But those 2 dudes are phenomenal wide receivers to where I'm not as concerned about NAU losing wide receivers. They got a great pipeline of really talented wide receivers, and then they got those 2 dudes as their front runners, right? Hendricks Johnson has been a beast.
He's a stud.
Yeah, and then Stacy, he's been a beast. So they already have 2 dudes replacing whatever type of production they need. So again, if you're looking at impact players, pick 1 to 2 personnel or players from each position group on the offense. They have impact players. The whole offense is a solid offense. They're just missing that secondary piece, and that is the defense. So, did I steal one of your players?
Yeah, Hendricks Johnson, man. That's
he's
my
a
guy.
beast.
I love Hendricks Johnson. I've said if he was at Eastern Washington, this guy would be
get Efton Chisholm praise.
Yeah. I'll go out on a limb and say Cooper Kupp light.
Well, that's Efton Chisholm too. They're saying he's comparable to Cooper Kupp.
True, but I mean, I think right now, if you ask me right now, I take Hendricks Johnson over Efton Chisholm. We'll see after this season.
Yeah,
that might
fair.
change. After Chisholm has taken steps forward every season, he probably will take another one this year.
He's a sophomore this year and was freshman All-American, but we'll see.
Yeah, Hendricks Johnson is fire,
and it's a great name. That is a football name. Hendricks Johnson?
Stacy's been good. They what's it?
Hendricks Johnson's just a stud of a name. It's up there. It's up there with Brooks Ferguson.
Yeah. The Portland State throwback. If you guys haven't listened to it, it is on YouTube. It posted yesterday. There you go.
Yeah. And we are just we are having the land. I was going to say their quarterback or running back that's really good is Drayson Hall as well, or at least they're really high on. True sophomore. He really tore it up in the spring season, a little quieter in the fall season. But when you look at this running back room, we're back to another running back room with fantastic names. You have Tyson Grubbs. You have George Robinson. That is a Heisman winner's name right there. George Robinson. Kevin Daniels. Then you have Zariq Parham.
Good enough.
Xereque. Zariq?
Yeah.
Is that French? Yeah. Then he's got Mikey Castro, Drayson Hall, Alec Whibble Meza.
Yeah.
Those are some solid names. Alshon Taylor, we've been plugging Union High a lot. Union guy, he flipped on Idaho the last, right before signing day. Guy I was high on. But yeah, I think on the offensive side of the ball, there's tons of dudes that are worth taking away. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it's Bathing Sweeney. If Sweeney's not making a play, then that's because he got blocked, and they probably scored 6 points on the old Jacks because he's the only guy they really got on defense that's been any bit consistent. And then I just want to point out, we also are having great luck on guys wearing number 0. Portland State episode, we can't plug it enough. That was a really fun one to do. We had, Mikey Irwin Jr., Sr.?
Mike Irwin Sr.
Mike Irwin Sr., who's not actually a senior. This on NAU wearing number 0 this year. We have Chase Belcher, wide receiver from Valdosta, Georgia. And then we have Demetric Watts II. Linebacker.
Can we talk about their wide receiver room in general?
Yeah,
just because most
other
people,
than Eastern, it's probably the most stacked in the entire conference.
Yeah, because most people, when you're looking at wide receivers in the Big Sky, you think, oh, Eastern Washington's room, right? That's a common notion, and it's a fair notion. But when you're looking at what NAU's gone after, who they've recruited, they have some freakish athletes.
Yes.
Their wide receiver room, I would put them on par with anyone in the country.
I said they were better than when Montana had Torrey and Akem.
Well, yeah, because I said Torrey was and Akem was a little overrated. Well, Torrey was a beast.
Either way, I was just saying, sure, you can say that Torrey and Akem are better than Brandon Porter and Hendricks Johnson, but then you have Stacy and Malik Flowers and those guys just weren't they didn't have that third. They have 4s and 5s that would be 1s on some of these
and they're getting people from Los Angeles, Valdosta, Georgia, big football towns, Tucson, Arizona, Palo Alto, Gilbert, California, Texas. Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at this wide receiver room, a lot of them are young, and a lot of them are from big-time areas where they recruit a freakish amount of amazing athletes. They might have the best wide receiver room in the nation for FCS.
Now, Chris Paul, if you want to start winning, maybe convert some of those guys to DBs.
To DBs, yes. Because they're lacking that.
But, yeah, that was kind of it. The big thing, Brandon Porter leaving. I've fallen behind on slides. But let's get into the headlines. Are we sure Case Cookus is out of eligibility?
No.
AKA the head. Actually, I'm going to let you guys guess the headlines, and then I'll guide the conversation. Boatman, take with this what you will.
Oh, God.
Stupid.
Are we sure he's out of eligibility? No. Case Cookus Senior coming back for his
penalty as a quarterback.
7th year.
Yeah, if you get a targeting penalty as a quarterback, I think you get an extra year.
I have a question. If you just change your name to Case Cookus Senior, do you become a whole new person?
Yeah.
Do you restart?
Or he already is senior. He was senior his freshman year. I I still love Case Cookus when they were doing the media days. He hung out with only Eastern players, no one else. And our Eastern player had, a camera, and he was doing his own like documentary style. Every time he pull over to Case Cookus, he's like, all right, how's it feel being the only 40-year-old man with all of these kids? Like, poor Case Cookus. He was in the Big Sky for 15
What's he doing
years.
now?
He's just won a USFL championship, correct?
Yeah, for Birmingham, right?
Yeah. But sadly,
he got injured last game
or something in that game.
Yeah, it was gross.
So he had to get taken out. But yeah, he took over like week 2 and led them all the way to the championship. Got hurt in the championship game and they won. So he, I think, is back to getting NFL looks. So he got picked up by the Vikings, I want to say, and then he tore up the USFL. I mean, he was. Yeah. If you got anyone that watched the XFL, he was the PJ Walker of the US. I know the USFL was less watched, but yeah, Cookus became like basically one of the standout guys.
Worst case scenario is he has a home in the CFL.
Yeah, I mean, he proved the CFL could do it. I think they'll bring him back if the USL survives the offseason.
Yeah.
Something that none of these spring leagues have been able to do. But he has. We'll see. He's got a very big uproad. I don't know what the kind of care you get when you get hurt in that league compared to like the NFL.
Yeah, I have no clue. But before we move,
because dude, that guy became a fan legend. Even Montana fans love him, and for like the only quarterback targeting penalty I think in the history of the universe. Well,
I still love him as a freshman. He came to Eastern Washington when we were still like this big powerhouse, right? He came as a freshman wearing gold cleats, super cocky, beat the crap out of us. Like it was the Case Cookus show that year. And then we got a redemption every other year since. But he absolutely just murdered us. And we're like, who is this freshman? Then he won the Jerry Rice Award because of it. I mean, Case Cookus, a Big Sky legend. I only wish for good things for you. But can we just, for one, before we move forward, look at the way Chris spelled it. Out? Is out of T eligibility?
Is out.
It's I'm pretty sure it's Yinsler, right?
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh.
Oft eligibility.
That's all I had. But
hey, all right, you know what?
But go
Photoshop does not have spell check. I type these things. I'm trying to pump them out for episodes. Also, in my Twitter handle, it says typos.
I
first draft tweeter, typos expected. So I own it. I'm not a grammatical genius. So the guided discussion on this was.
Okay.
I like letting you guys go away with it though. That's how we're doing this going forward. Does NAU have the quarterback figured out?
Yeah, RJ Martinez.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, is that what they need? Is RJ the guy, or do they need to be recruiting somebody?
I guess paraphrase that question. Are you saying is RJ the guy that can bring NAU to a national title? No. Is RJ the guy that can bring together a potent offense with a really bad defense? Yes.
Is RJ Martinez the guy that can get them from being the barometer of everybody above us goes to the playoffs, everyone below us doesn't, and we get stuck being in the first 4 out category every year?
Yeah, because I don't think RJ Martinez is the reason why NAU is failing in these games.
All right. Well, this is a great transfer to the next headline. Need map to the peak. This one was not as descriptive or as hilarious as the other one. So I will just guide this one. What is the ceiling for NAU? Like, people talk about this with Texas A&M. Like, Texas A&M fans getting all upset. Like, well, and people are like, well, what's your ceiling? You guys aren't in Alabama. Like, you're not supposed to go to the national title.
Don't tell them that. They think they're going to go win a national title.
Exactly. Well, then they've kind of turned that switch. And I remember this was like 4 years ago. And in the last 4 years, they've kind of done that. It's like, what is NAU ceiling? They're not a team that's ever made it super deep in the playoffs. They've never been to a title game.
I think they don't have a playoff win.
I think their ceiling is just making it to the playoffs and winning the game. That's this current iteration's ceiling.
And that's this season. And are we talking all time? Is this a program that could? I mean, obviously, we're talking 1 in a million. Of course, every program ever. Idaho State, for golly shakes, has a national title win. Is this a program that realistically could be built into a national title contender? Like if you're a coach and Chris Paul leaves, gets promoted, gets fired, retires, whatever, is this a job where you look at it and go, I can build a winner here? Because that's the one thing I think when I think NAU, I go, it's such a cool school. It's in a very rich recruiting ground that only has zero G5 like competition at all, just Power 5. And both those Power 5s at the moment are not very good. This is like a program that I feel like coaches around the FCS would want.
Yeah.
But could they ever be more than just a quarterfinal team?
I mean, this is tough. I mean, they're 1-7 in the playoffs or something like that, right? They haven't been successful. This is, I've called UC Davis a sleeping giant since 2016. Before you guys even dropped down to the FCS, I was calling UC Davis a sleeping giant when they had 2 wins.
We were in the FCS before you were even a football pro.
Oh, shut your mouth. We've been in longer. Doesn't matter. More years. But the difference is like I've been calling UC Davis a sleeping giant when they had 2 wins, right? Because they have everything. NAU literally has everything you need to be a super successful program. When I go to Flagstaff, when I see their campus of 30,000 kids, right? How come they have a national title track and field cross-country program that can compete with every single big program in the nation?
Because they train at altitude?
Well, so does their football team, right? So does everything about their athletics. They're in a rich recruiting area in Arizona, real close to Las Vegas, who doesn't have a lot of competition either. They're near Utah. They're near California. They're near Texas in a way, right? Colorado. They're in a great bubble with not that much competition. Great campus. It's a big school. They're bigger than Washington State in terms of just enrollment, I'm pretty sure, or about the same size. They have all the resources that you would need to be a successful program. They just haven't been. And I don't know if that's the administrative team. I don't know if that's just the coaching, bad hires. I don't know what it is because overall they have a solid athletic department. Their volleyball team kicks butt. Their soccer team, I'm pretty sure, kicks butt. Their track and field cross country kicks butt. I don't know what it is, but this is definitely a team that should be every single year with the Montanas, with some of the Californias. There's nothing that's holding them down besides what's going on the field. And I don't know why that is. If Eastern can win a national title, be a semifinal team, there is no reason in hell NAU cannot.
See, and that's why I was kind of asking it, is because, like, I feel the same way in the sense that, like, we've talked about everyone when we talk about thinning the big sky, and this is probably an annoying conversation for a lot of people to keep hearing. NAU is a school that everybody, like, wants to handedly just hand to the whack. And I just look at it and go, look, they're
so much potential.
They're like the 5th oldest member in the Big Sky at the moment. Because then they come in like 4 or 5 years before you guys.
Yeah, it's not that much.
They came in, to put it in people's perspective, the same year that Boise State joined the Big Sky. So, like, they've been there since, like, I want to say, like, 76. They're not Weber, Idaho State, Idaho, Montana State, like the founding members. But, like, they're basically the first edition. And they have built this conference, and I do think you talked about they are 1,000 students short of Washington State.
Okay, but yeah, same size.
Yeah, both in the upper 20,000s, flirting with 30,000.
Yeah, the Big Sky has some huge schools.
Yeah, and like it's a school that gets pretty well funded. Like it's.
And if I lived in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Everyone knows who NAU is. Northern Arizona is a big-time school in Arizona. Maybe not big-time athletics, but like in Seattle area, there were people who didn't know Eastern Washington was a university. There's probably
people that don't know who Portland State is.
Everyone knows who NAU is. A lot of people go there if you live in Arizona.
There's people in Sacramento that don't know who UC Davis is.
Yeah, like crazy.
NAU is one of those teams where like you look at, and that's why I asked. Like this season, ceiling is probably fringe playoff. I don't think they'll get there. We'll get to the win-losses here shortly. But, like, I think as a program, I mean, maybe this is a conversation for a different time of, like, top 25 programs. But, like, potential programs. This has got to be one, like, in terms of, like, where you could build something. Because there just isn't competition which is basically how the Montanas and North Dakotas do so well. Is yes, you have the Arizonas, but they're down at the moment, and even that they don't have any G5 competition. But UNLV, like, man, and that's an area, Vegas, Southern California, Arizona, Southern Utah, that has no embarrassment of Richmond or embarrassment of riches in talent. That's the term there.
Yeah, there's tons of talent there.
So I don't know. That's kind of why I asked the question. Is like, I feel like this program is underperforming for what they could be. So hopefully, Ball can get them up. Boatman, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right, let's roll into the scale.
I co-sign everything.
Co-sign.
Nope.
Let's get into the old 2022 football schedule. They host. We wish they host.
Tough.
They travel to Tempe, Arizona to play the Sun Devils, Boatman.
Yeah, I'm still going to take Arizona State. Oh, well, that program, that's a dumpster fire. Not that they're down. Still taking Arizona State, but it's a mess. It's a 5-alarm fire mess.
Northern Arizona smoked in terms of all this. The Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah, but that Arizona team was also like very fresh. That was Jed Fish's first year, like the beginning of it. They are that's a very different team to now.
But now they're playing a team that's in the midst of a bunch of turmoil.
Yeah, but they still have Herm Edwards, same coach, same coaches, same program. Like, that's the difference.
Anyways, the game was only a 17-point difference last year, and it was played in Tempe. I'm talking Arizona State versus Arizona. I think it's the Brown Jug. No,
Governor's Cup. The Territorial Cup.
Territorial Cup, that's it.
There it is.
NAU, I think, pulls out back-to-back FBS wins over their big brothers. I'm actually going to take NAU to beat Arizona State. I think Arizona State is a program that is very upside down at the moment, and it's about to be this year's Arizona from last year. For more than just this, I think. Bye-bye.
Here's the deal, Chris. You and I are having a beer bet, and Boatman's involved, but Boatman's going to win because you say NAU is winning against Arizona State. I'm going to say Arizona has a better chance to win by 50 than NAU winning. So guess what? If Arizona State wins by 50, you owe me a beer. If NAU wins, I owe you a beer. If it's anywhere in between, we both owe Alex Boatman a beer.
All right.
Deal.
Alex Boatman, welcome to have 2 beers because NAU will lose by 49.
I just can't wait if this does happen, my prediction, in both Arizona schools, assuming NDSU can take care of Arizona.
God, then who wants the Arizona schools? Bring them to the mat.
Dude, the Big 12, if you listen to the 365 Sports, they want them. They want them.
I want them. Yeah, that's what I This wants them.
Then they travel to Sam Houston, return trip for playing the old defending champs last year. They got smoked. Oh, sorry, it's Boatman's pick.
Go Bearcats.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got smoked last year. I think they get smoked again this year. I'm giving them a loss against Sam Houston. Sam Houston has more scholarships now, too.
Yeah, I may go to the game just because, Sam Houston's so close to me. I might go root for NAU that game. But, Sam Houston wins by whatever they want. They did last year, too.
All right, how about the North Dakota Fighting Hawks?
It's 10 years, Chris. Come on. It's been a decade. Is North Dakota still good? Are they playoff team caliber?
Fringe.
They're like top 35.
Well,
yeah, fringe.
Okay, that's better than NAU, so I'm gonna go with North Dakota. It's in was it Grand Forks?
Oh,
it's in Flagstaff. I'm reading that wrong. Still going to North Dakota.
I'm gonna give them a. I just don't think this roster fixed any of its issues. So, man, I really want to pick a win here, but their defense.
This is a tough schedule. This is a tough schedule.
Anybody in the Big Sky who doesn't follow anything nationally, Tommy Schuster and the boys over there at NA or North Dakota are good. And then They lost that running back, right, Kyler? Ola Bode? No, Ola Bode was Idaho. They had a really good running back, too. I just don't think North Dakota has a good offense, and NAU did nothing to fix their defense now. So I will give North Dakota the win, but I think NAU is frisky in that game.
Well, I think UND actually has one of the bottom 20 or 30 offenses in the nation. They aren't a good offense.
But last year, I got a lot of heat for not putting them in my top 25, or I put them at 25.
Yeah.
Now, specifically because they had the worst schedule in the entire FCS.
They had a very brutal schedule.
They played all the top Missouri Valley teams on the road, played a Power 5 team, and then I think they played like a top, like Montana or somebody away too as like their.
No, they played Idaho State, which was very competitive.
Oh, was it?
It wasn't even very competitive. I lied. I think they won by like 25, something like that. Man, this is if it was at NAU, I'd actually pick NAU.
It is at NAU.
Oh, it is. Okay, I was reading it. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna pick NAU. I think North Dakota, they caught a little bit of fire their first spring season in the Missouri Valley, and now they're back to being the normal, traditional North Dakota program that we found in the Big Sky, a 500 NAU caliber program. So I think they had a pretty good rivalry back and forth when North Dakota was in. Pretty much whoever was a home team typically had a favorable schedule. So, yeah, I think NAU actually gets it done. It's going to be a close game, though. Either way, I'm not surprised if anyone wins on this one.
Yeah. Idaho, Boatman?
I picked NAU in our Idaho show, so NAU.
All right, NAU. I'm picking Idaho because I picked Idaho in our Idaho show. Kyler?
I think I picked Idaho, right?
You did.
I'm picking Idaho.
Kyler has them at 2-2. Alex and I have them at 1-3. Headed away to top 5 Portland State. Boatman?
NAU.
Ooh, win streak. Don't call it a streak, though. NAU.
Did I pick Portland State or NAU? I don't even remember. I think I picked NAU because I had Portland State like one win. So yeah, you know what?
We completely just demoralized Portland State. So
you know what? Yeah, I think NAU's offense is really good, and I'm not sold on Portland State's offense. So it's going to be a 35 to 34 point game. I'm going NAU.
Ooh, 3-game win streak for Kyler. Alex, are you going to join him on the 3-game win streak wagon as they host Cal Poly?
Yes, they are. They're going to beat Bo Baldwin and the boys.
I'm starting up my win streak here. Boom. They beat Cal Poly. Streak it. Kyler?
Here's the deal. Let's switch it up. Bo Baldwin is finding his athletes. NAU's defense is terrible. This is their drop game. They're looking forward to UC Davis. It's not getting done. They are losing to Cal Poly.
Ooh, wow. Just didn't want to give him that 4th game, huh? Well, maybe Boatman will at number 25, UC Davis.
This is like a tough one. This is just like to me, this is just like too. I'm going to pick NAU. I'm going to pull the trigger.
Ooh, 4 games. We're almost on one hand. I'm running out of fingers. Technically, I did. Thumb's not a finger. I'm going to give him a loss here, actually. UC Davis wins.
Yeah,
Tyler?
yeah. I'm picking UC Davis. So is my little dog who will not leave me alone.
Well, she's going to have to wait 4 more picks or else we're going to use her picks. At Idaho State, week 8.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5-game win streak.
They went from barely flirting with a life
It's just the way the schedule works out.
To a 5-game heater by Alex Boatman.
I'm going 5-3 at this point. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Idaho State as well. I don't remember how I picked that one in the Idaho State game, but bam, I'm giving it to him here. NAU win. Kyler?
Yeah, who knows what we picked last week. So, NAU beats Idaho State.
Bye week, they beat it and smash it and destroy it more than people are. The subscription and like button. Then they have Montana State at home, number 4. The
Bobcats.
Frisco runner-up, Bobcats, Boatman. They gonna hang in there?
Bobcats got it.
Yeah, altitude does not play a factor in this one since Montana State, I believe, is the second highest altitude team in the Big Sky.
Over Greeley?
Maybe Greeley. Greeley's more in the plains, though.
Yeah, but the plains
The plains are still like
6,000
6,000 feet high.
Yeah.
Well, somebody fact check us down in the
All
comment
right,
section.
I got it.
Either way,
Keep
I'm
going.
giving them
Keep it
Cats the win. Kyler?
Yeah, Montana State wins this. They're just too good.
All right, final 2 games of the season, playoffs possibly on the line at Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado loss. NAU win.
There you go.
Whew.
I was confused.
The old double fake there.
Ooh.
They lost to Northern Colorado last year at home.
Very
I
close
might
game.
give the Bears the dub here. Dubs Bears.
Yeah, give me NAU. Give me NAU. That's a fluke.
Weber State to close the season, and they do usually play Weber State close.
Yeah.
Alex?
All right, you ready for the fact check? I got it complete.
Greeley's
46-75. Bozeman's 47-93.
Oh, okay.
So Postman's higher?
120 feet. 128.
Now watch, like Weber's going to be higher than all of them or something ridiculous.
132 feet, sorry. Anyway.
Weber.
Weber's going to win, yeah.
Weber win, NAU lost. Boatman rounded them out at 6-5.
Exactly. That's exactly where I feel this team should be.
Sorry about it, Weber State. NAU win here. Tyler?
Yeah, Weber State doesn't need a fluke Hail Mary on the last second to win this year. They're going to win. Weber State wins, NAU loses.
All right, that brings your records, NAU Lumberjack fans. Boatman has you at 6-5. I have you at 5-6. Kyler has you also at 5-6, which basically means welcome to your 2021 all over again. You guys are the bar. We appreciate you. You keep everybody honest in the Big Sky Conference. Without you, we'd be a conference without direction. And right now, we know that direction is north. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you guys tomorrow with the Eastern Washington Eagles. Toodles.